Upon deployment to Balad, my unit was primarily tasked with gate and perimeter security at Camp Anaconda, the largest of the enduring presence bases in Iraq. Providing security at the front gate, one of the daily rituals we were tasked with was clearing Iraqi nationals who came to work on a daily basis on post, doing such jobs as filling sandbags, clearing rubble and trash, etc. These Iraqi nationals were paid $1 a day and were given an MRE for lunch. They worked under extreme conditions of heat and dust, oftentimes 130-degree temperature, and were always escorted by armed guards. One of the other missions that we were occasionally tasked with was raiding houses in the local area, especially when we first arrived in country. One of the houses that we first raided was supposedly the home of a former Ba'ath official. It was the middle of the day when we raided this house. When we arrived in the neighborhood, we were told that we were going to try to force the front gate open to the house. Apparently, the armored cavalry unit that was with us had other plans in mind. They rolled over the front wall of the house, destroyed the vehicle that was inside, and upon entry to the house, I was second in the stack of formation of troops that went through the gate. There was an older female who was in the courtyard by this time, and she was screaming something unintelligible in Arabic. I didn't see her as a threat, so I continued on past her into the building itself. One of the soldiers behind me apparently thought that she was a threat, butt stroked her in the face, knocked her to the ground, and someone after him apparently zip-tied her and took her out into the front yard. Then we proceeded to ransack this house. I was in the master bedroom. There was dressers and wardrobes. Wardrobes were locked. We pulled the doors off. We turned everything in the room upside down. We went through everything. Personnel in my unit that were in the kitchen turned the refrigerator upside down, pulled the stove, actually broke the stove, pulled it out of the wall, broke the line to it. After we searched through the house, we had everyone, including the children, zip-tied on the front lawn. Apparently, someone in my chain of command realized that we had the wrong home. We were on the wrong street, that the home we were supposed to have raided was actually behind this house on another street. So we went over to that home and raided that house. Actually, going through that gate of that home, I actually almost fired on a person that I believe was mentally disabled. He apparently he didn't understand what was going on. He was standing in a window directly in front of us, and in the initial first few seconds of going through the wall, I actually thought that he was a threat. Almost fired, and then realized that there was something wrong with him and he just didn't realize what was happening. We searched through that home, detained the person that we were supposed to detain, and upon searching the home, we started coming across all this paperwork in his office and in his bedroom, and it looked to me like he was an algebra instructor. Maybe at the local high school, maybe at a local university, because there was just reams of stuff that was math problems. This guy is supposed to be a former Ba'ath official. We took him, put a sandbag over his head, loaded him on a truck, and we started back towards Camp Anaconda. He was actually on my vehicle with my squad. And on the way back to Camp Anaconda, it was about a 45-minute drive, my squad leader thought that it would be funny to pose for a picture next to this guy, and he asked me to take a photo of him and this detainee, and I refused to do so. I didn't believe that was the right thing to do. And upon arrival back at our quarters, I was disciplined for quite some time for this, including physical punishment, because I had disobeyed him in front of the rest of the squad. Really, the turning point for me in my experience in Iraq was an incident that occurred when I was off duty at night. There was a platoon in my company who were, how should I put this? They were the hardcore platoon. You know, every unit has one platoon that is more extreme than the rest. This platoon happened to have a squad that was on, well, they called it an ambush, but really what it was is they were hiding out in the farms in the surrounding area outside the perimeter, and they were trying to detain and stop people who were out past curfew. So they were out there one night, and apparently a farmer was on his property. I think it was about 3 o'clock in the morning, and you know, electricity was intermittent, and he was out there trying to work on his farm, work on a pump or something. They told him to halt and stop. He panicked and ran. They opened fire, and they killed this individual. The next day, Civil Affairs came and spoke with us and said, as a company, and said, we are not going to pay any benefit to this family. They also informed us that his brother was a close ally of us, had up until this time had been working with us, and was a respected leader of the local community, and that this individual that we killed also had 14 children. The Civil Affairs officer suggested that we take up a collection and donate $1 or $2 apiece to the family, and that he thought that that would go a long way in helping to ease the family's suffering. There's 125 members of a rifle company, roughly, so you're talking about anywhere probably between $125 and $150. In reality, I don't think anyone donated any money. And finally, just to wrap things up, I want to take this time to apologize to the Iraqi people for the things that you know, I helped to do, and the actions that people in my unit and myself did while I was there. Thank you.
Jeffrey Smith, an infantryman for 6 years, served in Iraq in May 2003, honorably discharged January 2004, testifying at Winter Soldier in Silver Spring, an echo of an earlier gathering in Detroit, Michigan in 1971, when Vietnam vets spoke about their experiences there. 200 years earlier, in the winter of 1776, Thomas Paine wrote, "These are the time that try men's souls. The summer soldier and sunshine patriot will in this crisis shrink from the service of his country, but he that stands it now deserves the love and thanks of man and woman." Referencing Thomas Paine, the soldiers testifying about the horrors of war 2 centuries later called themselves Winter Soldier. Today, 5 years after the invasion began, nearly 160,000 troops remain stationed in Iraq. Close to 4,000 have died. The number of Iraqis dead is still unknown. It could be more than 1 million. And that does it for our broadcast. If you'd like a copy of our show, go to our website at democracynow.org. Special thanks to Free Speech TV and Deep Dish TV. Democracy Now! Produced by Mike Burke, Sharif Abdel-Quddus, Aaron Mate. I'm Amy Goodman. Thanks for joining us.